Hello everybody, my name is Heather and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do the second video in my Journey to Minimalism series, and that just happens to be the second step in the Konmari Method according to the Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, and that is books. So you may or may not have seen me going through all of my clothes in a previous video. If you haven't seen that, I recommend you check it out because she does recommend going through your clothes first. So I'm gonna leave that video linked down in the description box and make it pop up in one of these corners. But right now we're gonna do the second step, and that is books. I actually do have a second channel called Heather Forever Books where I discuss all the books I'm reading. I do a lot of book hauls. Books are a huge part of my life. I love to read. Now the problem with owning a lot of books, you're not really going to reread them anytime soon. So, oh, the sun's really coming out. All right, so I just resituated a little bit because the sun was like blinding me and probably like blinding you. So it is very unlikely that I'm going to reread even a small percentage of the books that I tend to buy for my book channel. Periodically, I need to go through and get rid of some books. So I actually did that. I filmed the decluttering portion of this video that you're going to be seeing back in November or December actually. So throughout December, I was actually selling on an Amazon marketplace store that I opened. For 1 month, I was selling a bunch of my books. I periodically need to do that because I only have one bookshelf. The first time we did the Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up back in 2015, we got rid of so many books that we were able to downsize from 3 bookshelves to 1. I was gonna say 2, but just to 1. What you're supposed to do, instead of just kind of rifling through the titles and looking at the spines and getting rid of books that way, you are really supposed to remove all of the books off of your shelves, remove the books from anywhere in your house that you know you keep books, pile them up, and then go through them one by one to see which books spark joy. Now, for me, this spark joy test has changed in terms of keeping books because for my book channel, I also do book tags and things like that where I like to be able to physically hold up a book if I am going back and referencing it. So I like to keep books that I feel like are pretty good books that I will probably reference quite a lot, or if I'm doing a recommendations video. But I did end up getting rid of about like almost 50 books, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the first time I ever did the Konmari Method, we got rid of over 200 books. Because back when I did the Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up originally, I wasn't really reading that much, honestly. But something that Marie Kondo mentions towards the end of the Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up is that doing this process, because it simplifies your life so much, it really makes you think about what you find value in your life, and what brings you joy in your life. So when I got rid of all of those books, I did feel an absence and it made me want to read more. So once I got rid of 200 something books, I started reading a lot more. I remember my goal for that year was to read only 12 books, and I ended up reading over 60. There were some books that I got rid of that I kind of regretted getting rid of, namely the Harry Potter series. I wanted to, in the past year or so, I've been really wanting to reread the Harry Potter series, so I ended up getting for my birthday the collection of the Harry Potter series where the spines make up the picture of Hogwarts, and I have since reread the first 2 books and I'm so excited to keep rereading them. Something to keep in mind is that if you get rid of something and you feel like you might regret later getting rid of that, you can always repurchase it. I mean, there are obviously exceptions to that, but when it comes to like a lot of your clothes or books, since we're talking about books right now, you can repurchase books, and yeah, you're forking out some extra money that you might not necessarily have done, but the value comes from when you realize that item is so important and it's important enough to you that you purchased it twice. The regret will very rarely happen, but the feeling of weightlessness and satisfaction of getting rid of all this excess stuff is a lot more valuable than, and it will happen more than the possibility that you might regret getting rid of something. I did end up, having to get a couple things again, but I really, really know now that I love those things, and they're not kind of buried with all the other meh books or the meh stuff, The other thing to note, if you are not a big reader, but you have a ton of books, look at the books that you haven't even read yet. When did you get those? Did you buy them for yourself? Did you feel like you were really excited to read that book? And how do you feel about reading that book now? It's really hard for me to get rid of books that I haven't read yet, because it's almost like throwing out a product I haven't used or finished. So to kind of compare it to my other interest in like beauty and skincare and makeup and all of that. So you guys might have seen my empties videos and how I like to get as much use out of a product as possible. With getting rid of a book before I finished it, it's very hard for me to do so. But when I did this just recently, I did end up getting rid of a couple of books that were given to me. People thought I might like to read them, but I was never really excited to read it. And I kept thinking to myself, I have a huge pile of unread books that I am way more excited to read than this. And over the course of the coming years, the rest of my life, more and more books are always going to be released that I'm going to be more excited to read than this. So I just need to let it go. But when you do that, there is this sense of relief and release, I guess, because you're releasing it and it makes you feel relieved. So take a look at that. Take a look at the books on your list that you haven't read yet, and they're just sitting there, and maybe someone else out in the world is going to find that book at a used bookstore and really get excited about it. Otherwise, it's just going to sit in your pile and never get read. Books are meant to be read. There's this whole thing with minimalism about buying and making purchases. Minimalists, at least as I understand it, we're not against shopping, but what I have learned and tried to incorporate more into my life and into my buying habits is to be way more intentional about where I'm putting my money and not just shopping for the sake of shopping. So when it comes to books specifically, I try so hard to avoid going on the discount book website that I love a lot called Book Outlet, because I will almost always find books on that site that I really, really want. But the thing is, I didn't know I wanted it until I saw it. And another thing to think about throughout this entire minimalism series, when it comes to shopping, the high you get from shopping, it has actually been studied and reported that the excitement and joy and thrill you get from shopping is at its peak right before you actually make the purchase. Something weird to think about. To kind of experiment with that, go on a website and just add things to your cart and then just like get off the website, and you'll start, I don't know, I do that all the time now. Like I'll even go on Book Outlet sometimes and I will fill up my cart with books and then I will just walk away. And then I don't miss the books, because then I'm like, I keep looking over here, because down here under my desk there are a ton of books that I have yet to read, and I'm so glad it hasn't gotten any bigger in the past month or so, because I have stopped buying books. There are a couple that I pre-ordered, so I think I've acquired maybe one or two. But other than that, I'm not just buying books for the sake of buying books anymore until I get out of my reading slump. So back to the process of actually decluttering the books, a couple of tips to keep in mind are not to start reading the book as you're trying to decide whether or not you're going to get rid of it, because that's going to slow down the process way more. And then also, don't keep something just because you might read it someday, especially if you're not a big reader. Like for me, yeah, my books, I know I will read them someday, soon, because I know I love reading and I know I'll get out of this reading slump. I know I'm going to want a huge pile of books to just like dive into, but that's just me. That's my personality. I know I'm going to read. But people who don't read and they seem to have all these books they've never read, someday never comes unless you really look at this book and you're like, oh my God, I really want to read it. And then put it on your nightstand, put that book somewhere where you are actually going to see it, carry it with you in your bag, in your backpack, actually start reading it as soon as you can. And then after a while, if you still haven't picked it up, get rid of it. Someday never comes. When someday does come is when you feel that absence, like I did. When I got rid of a ton of books and I felt like I got rid of all these books. Now all of a sudden I really want to read. But then I was very intentional about what books I was picking up and getting myself really excited about books. Okay, so once you've gotten rid of all of the books that don't spark joy, get rid of them right away. That goes with every single step in the Konmari Method. Get it out of your home that day if possible, or like within a couple of days. And then things that you have decided to keep, I really recommend placing them back on your bookshelf in a way that is very aesthetically pleasing. Back in high school, I used to organize my books alphabetically by author, and I just don't think that is necessary for a home library. Honestly, I think that especially if you just have one or two bookshelves, it just looks so much nicer to maybe organize them by color or by height. You don't even have to put two books by the same author next to each other. You know, sometimes it's just more fun to walk into a room and you see a bookshelf and it just looks really pretty. And there is a lot of inspiration out there on the internet for styling a bookshelf. So I recommend, if that's something that would be interesting to you or fun for you to try, you don't have to limit yourself to just putting books like this in alphabetical order. When you walk into your home, you want to be pleased with how it looks. Like, you want to surround yourself with pleasing imagery and a clean and tidy space that pleases your eye. Like, you're the only one that really matters. If a bookshelf organized alphabetically by last name of the author is pleasing to you, then go for it. For me, for a long time, I had mine organized by color, but then I kind of got bored with that, so I kind of did something different this time around. But I'll probably always kind of reorganize my shelf because I like to keep it fresh. And also, your brain tends to blind itself to things in the environment that don't change. Your bookshelf that hasn't changed in years and years and years, you might just stop seeing it. That is it for this video today. I believe that is pretty much all of the main points of decluttering your books according to the Konmari Method. And I really hope you enjoyed hearing from my perspective and kind of seeing a bit of my process. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It does let me know that you're interested in my minimalism series. There are more videos in this minimalism series to come. We have since decluttered our kitchen, and I did film that, so I will have a kitchen declutter video up for you guys at some point as well, so keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in minimalism, definitely subscribe to my channel because I am doing this series, so there are videos about minimalism on my channel, as well as project panning, which is actually how I am implementing minimalism into my makeup and beauty collection. So I really hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and watching. And if you got to the end of this video, comment down below, I like big books and I cannot lie. All right, you guys, I love you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.